Yes, there is one important thing I want to share with you regarding the topic of correlation that you should really be cautious about. It is often said that a correlation does not have to imply causality. This means that something that has a correlation does not necessarily have a physical or causal connection between the two things, but it can, if there is not really any genuine connection at all, then we call that a spurious correlation. And they should be cautious about that. An example of this is, for instance, that ice cream sales and shark attacks are positively correlated. And now you might also understand the term spurious correlation. There is no obvious connection that ice cream sales and shark attacks have anything to do with each other. Nevertheless, there is a positive correlation, and the reason is relative. Shark attacks can occur when people go swimming. And when does that happen? It happens in the summer. And when is ice cream sold? Ice cream is sold in the summer. This means there is a third factor that is related to these two things, and thus a correlation arises when calculated. But that does not mean we have actually said that there can be a causality between these two things. Yes, they are correlated, but there is no real causal relationship between the two things. Why does this happen? I just mentioned it. Spurious correlations refer to an apparent causal relationship between correlating variables that is statistically existent, but there is no cause and effect principle that can explain it. And perhaps it is also important to note that correlation is a symmetric concept. So if A and B are correlated, then B and A are also equally correlated. So there is no direction from A to B, rather, A and B are of equal value. This is meant to clarify that there are no causalities that can actually be determined here. There are more spurious correlations, such as the per capita consumption of margarine and divorce rates in Maine, which are well-known classics that are correlated for some reason. You might want to think about how these could possibly be related. Essentially, they need to try to find a third factor that has some kind of causal relationship with both. Or the number of films produced in a year, and the number of people drowning in a pool. So really, 2001. Absurdly, two things that have nothing to do with each other. Nevertheless, there is a calculable correlation between the two, which should make it clear to them that, as mentioned, correlation is not causation.